Hey folks, happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's doing well. So this week I have with me on the show, I have Lawrence Petross from LPD Pedals. Most of you probably know Lawrence. He's a amazing pedal builder. I personally at the moment have 3 of his pedals on my board. They're just very cool sounding, very well made, and haven't had Lawrence on for a while, so I thought let's bring him back, get caught up, see what he's up to these days, see how he's dealing with the current climate, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, without further ado, Lawrence, how are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are things in a much warmer Arizona?
Much warmer.
Yes.
Yeah, much warmer. I think it's been in the 90s lately, so
Yeah.
it's getting a little warm, a little too fast.
Oh yeah.
I like it when it holds off until about June.
Yeah, same thing here. It's we're like a month ahead because for us it's been warm, and the weather we're getting the last few weeks usually doesn't happen until May, so we're kind of like a month ahead. So it's probably there as well. So I just want to welcome. We got 20 folks in here already, which is very cool. So I want to say hello to a few people here. We got Rebel Rockers in the house. Jay Steen, nice to see you. There's Paul Lou. How's it going? Mitch Heyman is with us. Effing Believable. There's a new name. Welcome to the channel. Terry Himes is with us. Just going down here. William De Silva, Rick Hefner. There's Brian S. Fruitcake Tony. How are you, man? Cushman, New York City. And there's the first jump of the day. It's going down. Daniel Horsley, nice to see you. Papa Blue, how are you? Hey, LPD Pedals is here. PJ and the Beard. How you doing, man? JP Page 2. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Gene Schmidt. How you doing? Six String Brian. Cecil Music. Lars Guitars. Hutch from BA. Hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, welcome to the show. So I see that you rebranded yourself. This is going back a while. I'm trying to get caught up from the last time we spoke, but I see you got the new logo, which is very cool. And then you took that a step further and you kind of redesigned all your pedals. So tell me a little bit about that.
So that's a great story, actually, because it started. I started that rebranding in October of 2019.
Oh, that long ago.
Yes. Yeah. So it was the goal was to have everything ready and to re-release the 74 a year. Yeah, I think it was on its 1 year anniversary of its release with the new branding and the new logo and everything. And that would have been, I think, the beginning of April 2020. Everything was ready by the end of February, but COVID happened, and by the time I got closer to the release date, I didn't have any. I couldn't get parts.
Right.
So I wound up pushing it back. I was then shooting for the middle of the summer because that's what my suppliers were telling me, and wound up I couldn't get parts to even build old pedals, the previous brand, right? Not the rebranded pedals, but the original pedals. During the summer, I spent 3 months during the summer that I couldn't even sell product because I couldn't get parts to build them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty stinky.
Yeah, that's crap.
Right. but everything kind of came together, and then in August, actually, I guess it was my birthday, August 15th, is when we released the new brand and the 74, which I don't have one around here to show. Unfortunately, I should have been
Well, I
thinking
can
more.
show you an old one. I got an old one right here. That was
Script logo, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
that's the one.
yeah. So yeah, that kicked it off, and then I think about every 6 weeks after that, I re-released a new, a rebranded pedal. The 74 was first, the 68 was next, the 68 Deluxe followed that,
Mm-hmm.
and that was since I had done away with all of the other pedals except for the those three. It was time for new ones after that. So that kind of catches you up to speed, I think, on the.
Yeah, because I mean I have a javelina. There's a lot of pedals that you did not carry over,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Is that because like you just weren't getting demand for them, or you just wanted to go in a different direction?
Um, it was mainly going in a different direction.
Okay.
The minis had been out for almost 2 years at that point, so it was a good time to discontinue those. They did pretty well sales wise. There's a good number of them out there, and I still get people 2-3 times a week. I'll get someone sending me an email saying, "Hey, do you still make one of the minis?" And I have to tell them, keep an eye on the used market. But I personally have not seen very many come up used, so everybody must like them enough to hang on to them. So that's good.
Well, yeah. So that was the next question was, you kind of just answered it. If somebody wanted one of the discontinued pedals, I guess there'd have to be enough people to make it worth the time to do a little run. Would that be?
Yeah. Because I would have to, I'd have to do a limited run, like a small batch of 25 or 30 or something.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't have any of the parts or anything like that to do it. So I'd have to order stuff, and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I hear you. Be the whole, yeah. Basically, create a whole different assembly just for that one pedal. So
Yeah.
definitely have to be worth the time to invest in that. So when with the rebranding, so like, did you do any tweaking? Like, is the 74 rebrand the same content as the script 74, or did you take the time to maybe do a couple of modifications, or just was it just a repackaging?
No, it depends on the pedal,
Okay.
and on the circuit. So the 74 actually has changes to it from the original. The original had an active level control, which went from -6 dB to +6 dB, and I got enough feedback about it, people asking about it to change it, and it's the new one, the current version is a standard goes to zero level control.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of guys had well, I won't say a lot. I probably only had three, but these three guys said that it wouldn't go quiet enough for them to practice at night.
Yeah.
That right, so that's an issue.
Still
So
have
I
buffer there, even at yeah.
yeah, so I just I reworked the circuit to have it goes to zero volume control on it, which that's nice. It standardizes it too. It makes it like pretty much all the other pedals are. The circuit itself didn't have too much tweaking to it because I think it was already pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Same thing for the 87. That's just a repackaging because that circuit had been dialed in a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
68, the rebranded 68 is just a little bit brighter than the original 68. But other than that, it's pretty much the same too as the original.
Yeah, I was for those of you that my regular viewers, my regular subscribers, you know that I've released 10 original songs that are available on my YouTube channel. They're also on Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. And I did a live, I was saying to you off air, did a live stream the other day, and I played along with one of my songs, Escape, and that's one that I think is probably one of the favorites that I put out. And people were asking me, how are you getting that sound? How are you getting that sound? That was the Ernie Ball Music Man through the 87 pedal. That's how I achieved that sound. So, yeah, that pedal is, if you want to hear what the 87 sounds like, it is featured predominantly in that track. If you want to give that a listen, the song is called Escape. So, yeah, very cool, very cool. So, you carried over 3. So now you've got basically a lot of sort of open directions that you could go to. And are you kind of, with the newer pedals, are you still mainly a drive? Because I know you're starting to introduce time-based stuff now.
Yeah, yeah. And I wanted to do this before as well. So this having the limited series and having it be available exclusively to the LPD newsletter group is kind of nice, because it allows me to do smaller runs of things, and sometimes even do a little bit of testing on the designs and see, right, I'll come up with something that I think, yeah, that's really cool, and then I can put it out to my loyal followers, as I would write, the guys who are on who've actually taken the time and want to really be in touch with LPD, and they give good feedback, and they get like, this is the one that I put out. This is the Rival,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it's an analog delay, pretty straight ahead. Just has the 3 basic. It's got the level control, which is basically a blend control, and then the delay time and the repeats. Yeah. It'll do self oscillation, which is kind of fun to mess around with. And as well, it has tails switching on it. So it doesn't cut off the delay or the repeats when you bypass it. They continue on until it finishes out its cycle, and then
okay,
it's done.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's I like that. I'm not a huge delay user, but on the when I do use it, I like to have that because it smooths the transitions out, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because it'll bleed over into the next, and then yeah. So that's the first foray, and this one was supposed to be out in January, but again, COVID messed up the supply chain, so I couldn't get parts for it. So it was just released March 31st. What I try to do too with the limited editions is so as to not overwhelm everybody, just do like one per quarter. So yeah, so like the Rival, that was Q1 for 2021, and then I think Q2 is going to be the Dutch, which this is basically the evolution of the Lost Dutchman.
That was a great pedal.
Yeah, so it's what I did was I put it in. I guess it's the same basic package, so it's got the top mounted jacks. But I took the toggle switch, the punch toggle switch, and I moved it down to a foot switch, and then I did silent soft touch foot switching. The circuit is pretty much the same as the original Lost Dutchman.
Remind me again about that pedal, because I wish I still had it, because that was a really good pedal. But I remember that it was half of it was basically based around a Timmy. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's loosely based. The I guess the circuit architecture would be the overdrive generating section would be pretty similar to a Timmy. Okay. And then my it's my description was always it's kind of a cross between a Timmy and a Plexi.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but still more of an overdrive than an amp in a box. Where right, like the 68, 74, and 87, those are primarily amp in a box type pedals, and then the but like the Dutch, that's an overdrive. Um, and I'm shooting for Q2 on that one. That one should be out actually probably before the end of May if everything goes well. Anyway.
Right. Right. If your supply chain holds up.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like things, we were talking again off here. It sounds like things are kind of opening up a little bit in your neck of the woods. So hopefully that won't be an issue now with parts and that coming in.
Yeah, it's strange. It seems like when things started to open back up in, I guess it was around the summer, first of the summer, we got a little trickle of stuff, but then the July surge down here hit and everything shut back down again. And then, so it's just been kind of a roller coaster. You get some, but then like everybody is in the same boat trying to get parts. And so there's this huge rush of demand on the suppliers, and the suppliers sell out of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you have to wait, then they're playing catch up. And then, yeah, it's kind of been a nightmare. The last time I purchased parts, because I didn't know what it was going to do, I bought pretty much 4 or 5 times as many parts as I normally would.
Yeah, you stocked up.
Yeah, I stocked up just to have them. And I know everybody else is doing that too, which is why the supply keeps getting hammered so drastically.
Yeah, that makes sense. I should mention, if anyone has any questions, please throw a bunch of question marks in front of it. I am streaming to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, so just tagging me will not show up on this stream. So I need to see a bunch of question marks, and then I will forward those questions over to Lawrence. So yeah, please do that, and I will start monitoring the chat a little bit better with my nearsightedness here.
Yeah. So in I guess first part of December, I did this was my first new release under the.
Okay. I was going to ask you about that. Okay.
Yeah, cool. under the new branding, and that's the 87 Deluxe, which is 2 complete, unique, separate 87s in one box. Soft touch switching. It's still got the red green toggle switch, so you can have one side be red, one side be green, vice versa. Mm-hmm. Both red, both green. Internally, inside the back, there are 2 bright switches, so it gives you a little bit more control that way. The stock 87 is with the bright switch on, and when you turn the bright switch off, it actually mellows it out quite a bit, so you can get some really nice lower gain sounds.
So with that pedal, can you stack?
This one does not stack.
Let's say it's either one or the other.
Okay. It's one or the other. So you've got a channel switch and I probably did it backwards. A channel switch and then a bypass switch, and it just goes back and forth. When I was designing it, I had to make that decision, right? Do I want it to be able to be stacked or not? And since the 87 has so much gain as it is, stacking didn't make a lot of sense from a player's. Like me as a player, I would never stack it. No. I might boost it, but I don't think I'd ever stack one into another. So that, from a player standpoint, from a designer standpoint, stacking 2 high gain circuits like that, you just get noise and oscillation, and it becomes kind of a nightmare, in that even if you can get it tamed, you can never guarantee how the users are going to use it. And so often people like to just turn the gain to 10, right? And I can just imagine somebody doing that, right? Putting the gain on 10 and then stacking it together, and it just sitting there squealing, and then getting emails, hey, there's something wrong with this pedal. So
you
Right.
told.
So yeah. So I just decided to do it not stacking. That one doesn't stack. Um, I do
Yeah.
have one coming up though
Okay.
that I'll unveil here. I think some of my close followers
Yeah.
have
Well,
heard of it. But,
I think the question has already been brought up, and it's Guitar Hack. I have a question for Mr.
okay.
Petros. Reverb question mark in the works. ETA question mark. I think that's
Yes.
yes.
So this is the enclosure for the reverb. It's also which I'll talk about that in a minute. The reverb is going to be the next fully available production model will be the reverb. 4 controls. It'll have a blend control, a tone control, a depth or a decay control, like how big the room is, and then it'll have a pre-delay control on it, so you can adjust how soon the reverb kicks in, right?
Right.
So and it'll be soft touch switching with tails. That's a wonderful circuit. I really enjoy that circuit. That one should be out, I'm going to say June.
All right. So was that second quarter, third quarter?
That's still going to be second quarter. But that's so the production releases tend to overlap with the limited releases. I try not to release them at the same time because that just gets overwhelming for everyone, me included. But the difference with the production releases is that there's no limit to the quantity for the most part.
All right, so just so we're clear, then, so the reverb is a production,
Yes.
the delay is a limited. Is that correct?
The delay, yes, the rival, is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Right.
a limited. There were only
Okay.
25 of those made, and they are. I think I have maybe 2 left, and then they're gone.
Once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, the delay, and the reason that this is the delay, the reverb, it's finished. The circuit is finished, tested. It's completely ready. The artwork is ready. The only holdup with those is the colors. I'm having I have to say is the least favorite part of the design process for me is picking the color, because it's, well, that and naming can drive you crazy. It can, but I can tell you what the name is, because that's finalized. So the
All
name
right.
of the reverb will be the Cascade.
Cascade. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And yeah, the colors that are in the running are like a midnight blue, a blue black. I think there's one that's called Corona blue, which is like a dark indigo. I think that's probably what the reverb's going to be.
So let me ask you this. Sorry. So let me ask you this then. The rival is a limited.
Yes.
The reverb is production. How do you decide which is going to be limited? Is it based on the availability of components, or is it like how do you make that decision? Which is which?
That's a great question. Obviously, the availability of components does kind of come into play. If I'm doing, say, I was going to do a germanium fuzz face or something like that as a limited run. Not that I am, just purely hypothetical.
Right.
Getting quality germanium transistors that would work in that circuit is difficult and pricey. So that's a perfect candidate for a limited run, because I can order for 25 or 30 parts,
Right.
take the time, source all the stuff, and know that I don't have to revisit that in 2 months to try to find more of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. We got a question here from
Okay.
Hacks Buddy on Twitch. Hey, buddy. Someone asked me on YouTube if I have a Marshall JVM, how much different would an A87 get me tonally?
A JVM.
A JVM.
Um, JVMs were multiple channels, correct?
I, I what I recall from a JVM is it's not a high gain amp,
No,
and
no, it was kind of, you know,
it may.
uh,
I don't know if it had a. I don't know if it was. I don't know. I don't want to say anything incorrect, but other than I know that it's not a high gain amp, and the 87 is basically I don't know what would you say JCM 800, JCM 900.
it's the
That
green channel. Yeah, the green channel aims to do like the modded JCM 800,
okay.
and then the red channel is a high gain modded plexi.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. It would probably uh, I would think it would probably do the JVM thing. Yeah, see, I thought the JVM was the 4 channel one that they did.
I don't know. Somebody in here may know. If anyone else, chime in the chat. Uh,
Yeah, like it had a clean channel, and then it had like I don't know, like 3 different crunch channels in it. I can't remember, but I thought it was fairly high gain. So if that is the case, then maybe the 87 would do that.
Josie's asking, can we hear the delay? Do you have any demo? I have your YouTube channel. Let me mention this too. If anyone's interested in Lawrence's pedals, I have his webpage link below. I also have a link to your YouTube channel. Do you have any demos of the delay for people to listen to?
Yeah, there are 2 demos, two demo videos on my YouTube channel for the rival delay.
There you go.
Yeah, one is done by my buddy Sean over at Edge of Breakup, and the other one I did just impromptu. I took an 87 and put it into it and just noodled around a little bit. There's quite a few on Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram, you can go follow me on Instagram, and then I think I put them up in the reels, so you can see it there. But it's it's an analog style tape, analog style.
So it's got a gradual decay. It's not like a digital.
Right, and the repeats get darker
Yeah.
as they go. It's pretty warm and fat sounding, very organic. Not it definitely colors the delay tone. It's not like a digital delay, which is pristine and clean and all of that. That's if you're after an analog delay, that's exactly what you're after it for. So it fills that niche.
Yeah, Cushman is saying, Cushman in New York City, thank you for that. He's saying it's 4 channels.
Okay. That's the
Yeah.
one I thought it was. There's like a gazillion knobs on that amp.
Yeah, I'm way off base on my.
It's like the 87 Deluxe has way.
Oh shit! Wait a minute. No, the JVM. Yes, it's got 2 rows of channel. Yes. Now
Yeah,
I know.
right.
Yeah. What was I thinking? Yes.
Yeah, so like the 87 Deluxe has 11 knobs on it. That's like the amp. That's like that
Yeah.
amp.
Yeah.
Too many knobs. Wait, so
No.
many knobs.
It's got a lot of. Yeah. Okay. It's like double the DSLs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's
Exactly.
like 2 DSLs basically with 2 separate. Yeah, and then you've got the 4. That's yes. Yeah. That is a high. You can get high gain out of that. I apologize. I was having a brain fart. I am older. Okay. RJ the Mad One Guitar Hack, ask LPD if a 74 Deluxe is in the works. I would like one very much. That's RJ the Mad One.
Hey RJ. The 74 Deluxe is in the works. It is in the design phase. It has not made it off of paper yet, only because I'm stacked up a little bit. I was really kind of hoping to get it out before the end of the year, but I don't know that it's going to be available before early 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, just I got kind of stacked up with stuff. But it all depends on how everything flows. Like if the supply chain comes back together and the economy starts to hum along again, and you know, maybe it could happen.
Right. So okay. So currently in your line, you've got the 68, the 74, the 87, the Rival, which is limited. You said you had two left, right? Am I
Yeah,
missing one? And then the Reverb that's coming.
the Reverb is coming. The 68 Deluxe and the 87 Deluxe.
Okay.
Right. So yeah. So the mainstays, the production pedals are 68, 68 Deluxe, 87, 87 Deluxe, and the 74. Just those five.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it must be a lot easier for you because you were doing all kinds of
Yeah,
pedal.
it gets that's I did kind of spread myself a little thin there on some of those. So it's nice to be able to focus. Plus, with the increase in business, which has become pretty crazy, I kind of had to simplify the line just so I could focus and still keep up with production.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
you're a one man show.
yeah,
You know, that's what people got to understand. This is a one man show. It's like you're doing them all yourself. So it's not like, yeah, you got all these different, assembly lines going. So,
yeah, yeah. Well, I do. It's just that I'm the only one that's running around making sure that they're working. Yeah,
right, right,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
totally. So let's see what else I have. The next, so this is an interesting one in that it is a production pedal, but because of the complexity of the circuit and what the overall cost of the pedal is going to be, I'm only going to do 15 of them. Hopefully, you can see that. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the 68 stacked, and it's basically two complete 68s, original 68. So it's got the gain toggle on each one.
Right.
Um, and then you can choose whether how you want the switching. So on this one, I did make it available to stack. You can stack the two together. So
Yeah. Well, now it makes sense because that's a lower gain pedal. Right?
yeah, it's a lower gain. And I hear constantly from customers how well the 68 stacks. So that totally made sense. I'll show you in the back. You can see the guts. There's a slider switch right here, and that
Mm-hmm.
slider switch allows you to go between. Well, let me plug it in and I'll show you. It goes between. Where am I at? So I'm on the independent. So this is the A plus B. So you can have both on at the same time, or one on, one off. Right? If your foot's wide enough, you could probably step on both at the same time, and it would toggle. But I also have it set to where it'll toggle, where now the right button is the bypass, and the left button toggles between the channels.
Oh,
So
okay.
so it doesn't stack. So you've got the ability to choose which one you want it to do. And yeah, nice pedal. It's fun. This one should be out actually inside of the next 2 weeks. Only making 15 of them though, so they'll
Only
probably go pretty fast.
All right. So you heard it here, folks. If you're interested in that, you got to jump on that right away. So that would be get a rhythm tone on one side and lead tone on the other side. That's probably what I would use that for.
Yeah, yeah. There's lots of options with it, right? Like you were saying, you could do on the one side you could do the green channel and do a rhythm. On the other side, you could do the red channel or the higher gain and do your leads, or do two greens and then just stack them for the lead.
You can do that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot
Right?
of options there.
Yeah, a lot of options on that one. I think that one turned out really good. I think it turned out really good.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of flexibility there for sure. Gary's asking, what's the difference between the 87 and the 87 Deluxe? Folks, and let me just say this. If you have questions, because I'm having a hard time seeing them, make sure you throw a bunch of question marks in front. Tagging me doesn't work on the StreamYard. I'm streaming the three platforms, so that's the only way I could see it. So anyway, so he's asking the difference between the 87 and 87 Deluxe.
The 87 Deluxe is two complete 87s. The only thing that keeps it from being absolutely too complete, is that it shares the presence control. And that was primarily because I ran out of real estate in the pedal.
Yeah, you're pretty busy.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. So that's the biggest difference. From a usability standpoint, it enables you could use 2 green channels, 2 red channels, a red, a green. Either way, you can change the bright switches inside to complement whatever however the channel is and how you want to run it. So that's the biggest difference between them.
Here's a question from Brian S. Guitar Hack. What's the price on the stacked 68?
68 stack is going to be $360.
There you go. Okay, Bent Tom, LPD Pedals. Are you going to sign that pedal in your hand on the front face? That would rule.
Well, there's not really any room. It's full of knobs and switches. So I'll probably I'll probably sign it on the back plate.
Back plate, yeah.
Which that's on the inside of the back plate with like one of those silver autograph Sharpies. How's that? Does that sound? Does that sound good? Is that rock star enough for you?
Yeah. William De Silva's asking, did he say the Dual 68 is already in production?
It is not already in production. I just got the enclosures today. This is the first one built. But probably by the end of the weekend, I will have all 15 built, and then I'll start releasing them. I'm not for certain how I'm going to do that. Probably through the LPD
newsletter,
website newsletter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it'll just be first come, first serve for those.
Well, yeah. I mean, 15 of them. I don't think they're going to last long. I mean, there's already a few people that are here that sound pretty interested in it. So
yeah. Maybe it's just the black enclosure. I know the 68 blackout. I did 30 of those and they sold out in like 2 hours. I was really surprised. I was like, maybe I should have made 50.
Well, you never know, right?
You never know. It's right.
You never know. 68's a hot item, man. So you probably, maybe those 15, maybe that, if that was 2 hours for the blackout, might be half an hour for those 15. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows?
You know.
Who knows?
Here's a question from Paul Leonard Ewing. Ask Lawrence, besides getting to have the ability to make the best overdrives on the planet, what else did the devil throw in?
Throw into what? I'm not certain. I'm not certain there, Paul.
Well, ignores Guitar Hack. Any down the road new drive pedals on the breadboard? Brian's asking.
Oh, on the breadboard? Yeah, seems like there's always something on the breadboard. Nothing with names though. I got a. Did Brian see the? Did you see the Dutch? So that one's coming, and here's another one. This one will be that'll be Q2. This one may be. This will probably be Q3. This is now. I don't have an enclosure for it, so I just kind of had to do a mock-up for you guys because the enclosures are coming in tomorrow. Right? Story of my life. Day late and $1 short. So this is my, let's say my interpretation. I think that's good of the Klon Centaur. You will notice it has 4 knobs and not 3. So it has a bass control, which the original does not. This bass control, I designed it to where if it's set at noon, it's completely out of the circuit. So if you're a traditional Klon guy, you can just set it at noon and keep using the other controls like you want to. Always did with yours, whatever. If you want to add bass, you just crank the bass up. If you want to cut bass, crank the bass down. Yeah, really happy about this one. This one also has soft touch switching. The other thing is on the original Klon, the way that the drive control, it's got a jump in it. Like if you take it to 0 where it's completely clean and you start to roll it up a little bit, there's a jump point at about 9 o'clock, and it always annoyed me. So I redesigned that a little bit to where that jump is not there any longer. It's just a smooth transition as you go up into the overdrive. So yeah, this one's fun. I'm looking forward to this. There is a prototype out there. Mr. McKnight has it currently. He's playing around with it. He's going to give me his opinion on it. And we'll see how that one goes. So that's probably Q3, and then everybody remembers the Vermin. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the current version that's available. I think there's 5 left of these. It's a limited as well. You can tell. So the limited ones, they have the faceplate, so you can tell that's a different. And then down in the lower right corner, lower right corner, there's a different logo. It's got the limited logo on it. So there's that. So for Q4, I was thinking this, which is a Vermin, but obviously it has 4 knobs on it. Bass control. This bass control is a little different. It's not like the one on the Embers that it's out of the circuit at 0, and then it's a bass boost control.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, the circuit is almost exactly the same as the original Vermin, except for this one. It's got the cute little mouse on the inside there. So. Yeah, right. So that's a selling point. It's got a rat in it, and that's for the. So those are all limited runs, and that should take it to Q4. That should take it to the end of the year for the limited runs. And those are all actually ready to go. I'm just going to have to wait for the release time to put those out.
You want to overwhelm, like you were saying.
Yeah, right. Just let everybody know, hey, these things are coming, and it'll be, a rough time when they're going to be available. And then, then the next production, even though it's short production, will be the 68 stacked. And then I mentioned the Reverb, the Cascade Reverb.
Right.
That one, I'm hoping for June or July on that one. That'll be followed, same enclosure, a chorus.
I was going to ask you if you were going to keep doing more of those time-based effects. That was one of the questions I had for you.
Yeah, I'm and again, another production. It'll be released after the Reverb chorus, blend, tone, depth, and speed. I think are the controls on that with the soft touch switching and top mounted jacks. It's the name of that one is Tidal, Tidal. Mm-hmm. And that one will probably be closer to the end of summer, August-ish, if everything goes well, right? Again, it's all finished. It's just picking out colors for those. And then to round it all off, another delay. This one is a digital delay. Tap tempo. That's what the extra foot switch hole is for. So it'll be a tap tempo delay, blend, tone, repeats, and then time. And the time knob becomes a subdivision knob once you do your tap tempo. So to start the tap, it's kind of cool. To start the tap tempo, you just tap your tempo whatever you want to, and it puts it into tap tempo mode. And then your time knob sets whatever your divisions are. And to come out of tap tempo mode and go back into normal delay mode, you just tap it once, and it takes you out. So tails, this one will have tails delay. So basically, I took all the cool things that I developed with the Rival and built them into this. This one has a different processor. It's a digital processor. Um, but with the tone control, you can still get, because the way the tone control functions, you can still get analog sounds out of it. I don't think they're quite as convincing as the Rival, but it's pretty close.
Now that one's going to be a production model, correct?
Yes, and this will be a production model.
Okay, so the analog delay, not that digital will be.
Yes, and the name of this one is Offset.
Offset. Okay,
Yeah,
so
the Offset delay.
Bunch of questions been stacked up here.
Okay.
William was asking, is there a Vibe coming soon?
The rumors of the Vibe are greatly exaggerated. No, yes and no. It's that one has made it past the drawing board and is in the layout stage.
Okay.
I can't make any guarantees about that. It will be a limited edition release to start with. So if I had to guess, I would say Q1 of 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Squire Telecaster, sorry for the late question. Are these hand built? Yes.
Yes. I do have, because of the volume, I don't think I have one that I can show you. Because of the volume that I'm having to keep up with, I had to shift some of my production process over to surface mount. So I have the PCBs made for me, obviously, in a fab, and then that same fab does the surface mount components that I think are acceptable for the tone. I still do. I don't know if you can see here on the side. See these little chiclet looking things? Those are film capacitors. I still hand populate all of them with the film capacitors and any through hole components. And then I do. Obviously, I'm the one that assembles them all into the enclosures and does the testing and ships them out.
John Z351 is asking, any advantage to having a Deluxe over two separate 68s, 87s, etc., besides the convenience of one enclosure?
With the 87, we'll start with that one. With the 87, you have the ability to easily switch between two of them. If you had two 87s sitting side by side, you'd have to be kind of tricky with turning one on and turning the other one off. So that's an advantage. The other advantage is the 87 Deluxe has the bright switches inside, so that gives you some more tonal opportunities that you can't get with a stock 87, a single 87. For the 68 Deluxe, it's kind of the same. It's just a switching convenience, really. Like obviously with two 68 side by side, you can still do the stacking, turn one on, turn the other one on, and you're stacking, turn one off when you don't want it. Toggling between the two gets a little challenging, just because the distance between the foot switches. Right, you'd have to have a pretty. I think most people could probably hit both of them at the same time, but you'd have to have a pretty wide foot to get both of them at the same time.
Laz has a question. Guitar Hack, ask Lawrence, how's the flying pickle flanger coming along? Even on the breadboard. Roxy. So his bird wants to play that flanger.
Yes. Unfortunately, no. It's not even on the drawing board. I have a love-hate relationship with flangers, and always said that I wouldn't actually design and build anything that I wouldn't play myself. So
right.
The flanger will be down the road quite a ways, unfortunately.
Brad's got a question. Guitar Hack, does the clone bass control have a I think he means a dent at 0.
Oh, a detent. No, it does not. But the way that the circuit works, you can be anywhere from like 10% either side of noon, and it'll still be out of the circuit. It gets progressive the more that you go clockwise and counterclockwise.
All right, Nerve Cracker, which is Dave, is asking, does the Reaver pedal drip?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Okay, I think I got caught up with the questions. Again, folks, if you have questions, make sure you throw a bunch of question marks in front of the questions so that I can see them right away. Man, so you got your whole friggin' all this year planned out and
Yes.
spilling into next year. So that, like, I guess you have to, right? Because well, once you go, you got to have all the parts available. Like, you literally got to be ready to go.
Yeah.
So you got to have stock and everything laid out so that you can dive full force into putting out those whatever that current pedal is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It takes surprisingly long to bring some of these ideas to market. Some of them, like the 87, was 2 years in the making. It was,
Wow.
yeah, that was a long birth, that one. But some of them just kind of fall together. So you never, right? You never know. But once you start getting close to release, you have to kind of say, okay, what kind of demand do I think is going to, especially initial demand, is going to be, for these pedals, and you order parts to build the however many you guess is going to sell, and just try to keep up with it. COVID has made it much more of a challenge. Before, it was I could order parts and have like a 2 to 3 week delay time. Now, like the knobs, I have the knobs that I use are custom made for me, and there's a 6 month wait time for those
Wow.
things. So yeah, I mean, there was, towards the end of last year, I couldn't ship product for probably the last 2 weeks of the year, just because I didn't have knobs.
That's terrible. Brinus says, question, generic pedal question for LPD. Does he even move compression to the end of the pedal chain before the amp? I have an answer to that.
Go
Well, what do
ahead.
you? Compression is the first, not the last.
It depends on what you're wanting from your compression. Um, Generally, I run it so that's the first pedal the guitar sees. So it's doing all of its processing on the clean signal.
Mm-hmm.
But I have run it after some light overdrives, like this. The 68 into a compressor is quite nice if you want to extend the sustain. Yeah, it's quite nice. So
Well,
either way works, but I
the
think
key.
the only go ahead.
Go, no, I was going to say the key word that you said was light overdrive. So, because the compressor will raise your noise floor quite a bit,
Right,
and
right.
that's why I stick it in the front generally. And the way I use it is basically that's my clean boost. That's what I'll use. So it's clean signal going in. I want those notes to pop. I hit the compressor, and my gig being in a cover band and turning gains on and off and that sort of thing. If I put it at the end and I hit it, everything just goes woof,
Yeah,
because I could have the 87 in front of it, and it
right.
would be like, yeah, screaming for the door, right? Running, screaming for the doors. But yeah, I hear what you say. With light overdrive, it's not as much of an issue. Um, BC Rich 581, Lawrence, are you still dealing with any? He just answered the supply line delays resulting from COVID restrictions, or are they finally? So you were just answering that question. So yeah, yeah. So the process then is you get an. I'm like, correct me when I go off off track here is you get an
Okay.
idea, you draw it out, and then you build it on the breadboard, and then you tweak. Is that basically the process?
Yeah, yeah, that's basically the process. There is a stage prior to the idea stage where it's you know, I'll have a look, like I'll get an idea. I guess it's in between the light bulb stage and the breadboard stage. I'll get an idea for a pedal, and generally, if I don't dismiss it out of hand, I'll do some market research and see what else is out there already.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, because you don't want to be reinventing the wheel, there are certain things that, you know, certain designs that uh, warrant slight twists and then releasing something like the Klon with the bass control, right, and the gain control fix, and you know, some of those are very cool, especially, you know, for people who are into that circuit, because some circuits have followings that they like variations on the circuit too. So, but anyway, getting back to where I was at, so I'll look around at the market and see what's out there and how they're addressing whatever problem it is that they're trying to solve with it. And if it's well covered, usually that idea goes on the shelf, and I'll pick up a new one, just because I don't like reinventing the wheel, right? If you're gonna bring something to the market, it needs to solve a problem or fill a need.
Yeah, it's to be a better version of what is currently out there, right?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah. All right. We're at the 8:57. If anyone's got any last minute questions, throw them in. In the meantime, I want to remind everybody that I have a link to Lawrence's website below. I also have a link to Lawrence's YouTube channel where he's got demos of some of the pedals that we've been mentioning tonight. And also, if you want to support the Guitar Hack channel, I have links to merch, shirts like this, hats like that. That's all down below. Also, there's a PayPal, which would be much appreciated. If you do not follow me on Facebook or Instagram, all of those links are below, and any support would be very much appreciated. Also, if you have a Twitch account, if you wouldn't mind following me on Twitch, I'll put my Twitch handle. It is not Guitar Hack, because there's already a Guitar Hack on Twitch, if you can believe that. I am on Twitch. I am Guitar Hack 1. So if you went over on Twitch and followed me on Twitch, that'd be awesome. I'm trying to build up the my Twitch presence as well. Okay, and I did see one question pop up. And okay, here it is. Squire Telecaster is asking, what is the biggest difference between... Oh, okay, here's a good question. Between boutique pedals and the Behringer, other than the plastic housing, I guess.
Yeah, well, Behringers generally are mass produced, which means that they build them in the tens of thousands in a factory, generally on machines. There's probably some human interaction with the final assembly, but it's kept pretty minimal so they can keep the cost down. I don't know, because I'm not terribly familiar with the Behringer line, but from what I have seen, most of their stuff is clones of other circuits. So they don't do a tremendous amount of research and development or creating new designs. It's offering inexpensive versions of tried and true designs. I could be way off on that, but that's kind of what I've noticed in the pedals that I have seen them do. Boutique has several different. Unfortunately, it should only have one definition, but there are a few, because boutique encompasses pedals that are all completely handmade, point to point, old school, like the amps from the 50s, where there's no circuit board. It's just it's either done on eyelet or right. It's like the old the first tube amps, wiring, cloth wiring, really painstakingly done, beautiful workmanship. There's a gentleman out of the UK, Reeves Electronics, that builds some of the most art inside of a pedal. So there's that level, and then you get down to well, not get down, but the other end of the boutique spectrum would be maybe Wampler or JHS, which they're still building a lot of pedals, but there's more human involvement in the process. It's not just things being stamped out on machines. So that's kind of like I guess the range when it comes to boutique. I'd like to think that boutique means that more attention is paid to the quality of the product, that whether it's in the manufacture or the quality control or the design, there's just more attention paid to detail there.
Yeah, what I would, I mean, as a user and as somebody who used to gig once upon a time when you could gig, reliability is a huge factor. And if you're just at home and you just a home player, and and you just want to try some new sounds and whatever, yeah, Behringer, whatever, but if you need something that you can, rely on, having a pedal board, hit it, 10, 15 times a night and not have to worry that it won't work, then you're kind of, not necessarily, but at least like a Boss and maybe better, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, I do have a pedal on my board that is a knockoff. It's not a Behringer pedal, but it is a metal enclosure. It's a company called K-Line that makes, like you said, this is a knockoff Timmy, and it hasn't failed me. So, but there's always a little bit of a risk you take, right, when you're buying,
Yeah.
a knockoff pedal. Whereas, I mean, you buy a Wampler or a JHS or an LPD pedal, you don't really have to worry about, the button not working or the knobs, the pots going on it or anything like that, because you have the better quality parts in the pedal. So from a reliability point of view, that I think is probably one of the bigger advantages of going the boutique route, or at least a name brand route, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay. So we're at the hour. So Lawrence, in closing, was there anything else that you wanted the folks to know? Anything
No, I think that I got most of it out. I'd like to thank everyone for their continued support. I think I have the greatest customers in the world.
Right.
Yeah, and I enjoy I enjoy trying to inspire them. So that's hopefully it works out.
Well, like I say, I've been a big promoter of your stuff. I mention you all the time on my streams, the sounds that I'm getting, on my recordings, and I use your stuff when I gig, whenever I gig again. I feel bad about saying I gig because I haven't done it in a year. It's killing me. But
Yeah.
anyway, but when I do, I'm my 87 is my my Poison 80s rock sound. I got my 74, which is my 70s rock crunch, and then of course if I want to boost, and actually here's a quick story. I don't know if you remember this, but a while back I was messaging you saying I need a boost that will be able to boost even a really overdriven signal, because my tube screamer wasn't doing it. Nothing was doing it. And then you said, I've got this thing called the Vermin. And you actually shot a little video and sent it to me. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And you demoed the Vermin. And that Vermin, I don't care what's in front of it, that Vermin will make you louder. And the other thing too, and I don't want to push the vermin because you don't make them anymore, or not the vermin. I'm sorry, the javelina. I'm saying
Yeah.
I meant the javelina, and it's plus it's just even on its own. It's the simplest thing. It's like one knob and there's your gain. So
Yeah.
it's a great little pedal, but maybe you'll get it. Some javelina calls. Maybe get a bunch of people. Let's make another two more
Yeah.
javelina.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Possibly, right?
you never know. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. All right. So hang tight, Lawrence. So I want to thank everybody for coming in and checking out the show. Much appreciated. Next week's show on Wednesday, we're going to have John Jeffrey, who is the person responsible for that Buffalo Rock City, that tribute CD that we talked about on my show earlier, a while back now. He's in a Kiss cover band. Actually, they just put that album out on vinyl too. If anyone is interested, you can ask John about that next week. He's coming on. We're doing a Kiss show next week. We're going to do an album spotlight on Rock and Roll Over. So that's next Wednesday's show. If you're a Kiss fan, make sure you're there. And have a fantastic week, everyone. And we will see you then. Cheers, all.